Eagles, Eagles! What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the J All Day NFL show. Listen, we're 2 days before the NFL draft, and I want to do a full Philadelphia Eagles draft preview. We're going to go through all the types of visits, the top 30 visits, combine visits, interviews, meetings. We're going to go through all the players that the Eagles have on their radar in this draft season. Also, guys, I'm going to be going live for the NFL draft. And when the Eagles pick, if you're on watching the live, I'm going to do some giveaways. Quinyon Mitchell, autograph photos. All you got to do is write in the comments when the Eagles pick. So, you got to be watching the whole time. Because if the Eagles move up, say it pick 20, 22, 24, and you're not on, then you're not eligible to get one of these autographs. So, whenever the Eagles select, and you write the name of who the Eagles selected in the comments, you're going to be eligible for one of these Quinyon Mitchell autographs authenticated by JSA. So make sure you tune into that, guys. All right, let's get into this draft preview for 2025 for your Philadelphia Eagles. All right, Eagles fans, before we get into this video, I just want to say thank you. We just crossed 15,000 subscribers. You guys are the best. And I'm hoping for another parade down Broad Street for the Philadelphia Eagles this year. There was some breaking news. Walter Nolen just came in for a visit for the Philadelphia Eagles. That just got announced over the last 24 hours. He's one of my favorite players in this draft. 2 years at Texas A&M, last year at Ole Miss. He's a dominant force in the middle of that defensive line. Really, really talented guy. So first, we're going to go through some of these top 30 visits from CS and Philly and just preview some of these guys. Justin Walley, the cornerback from Minnesota, 22, 4-year starter at cornerback from Minnesota, 5'10", 190. And a partially torn MCL kept him out 2 games in 2024. So they got to look in on the medicals and see how he's doing. This guy is probably like a 4th or a 5th rounder because of that injury. Next up is Malachi Starks from Georgia. High IQ guy, 3-year starter at Georgia. Very versatile guy, 6'1", about 200 pounds. Good tackler. He's just one of the higher IQ guys in this entire draft class. Could definitely be a general in the middle of that defense. And with the Eagles letting CJ Gardner-Johnson go in a trade to the Texans, leaves a big opening at safety beside Reed Blankenship. So, could he be available at 32? 100%. But in most mock draft, he's going in the top 20, so they might have to trade up to get a guy like Malachi Starks. Would they be willing to trade up in the first round for a safety? History would say no. The Eagles have not drafted a safety at all in the first round. But I don't know if they've ever had this big of a hole at the safety position. So, I do think Malachi Starks is a really good player. Is he going to be there for the Eagles at 32? I doubt it. So, maybe the Eagles come in the top 20, but maybe safeties start to slide in this draft and some of these wide receivers and running backs like Omarion Hampton go, and maybe a guy like Jackson Dart goes, Jalen Milroe. Maybe if these quarterbacks start to go, then that could open up some opportunities for players to slide like Malachi Starks. Next is Tyleik Williams from Ohio State, 6'3", 329, 2-year starter for Ohio State. Put up crazy numbers with a total of 11 and a half sacks in his college career. You know, he's got pass rush upside. He's kind of going to, I don't think he'll be a first round pick, Tyleik Williams. I think he's more of the middle of the second round. So maybe this is an opportunity for the Eagles to move up in the middle of the second round to get a guy like Tyleik Williams. If they like him, they brought him in for a top 30 visit, so they absolutely like him. Jalen Smith makes some sense here, guys. The cornerback from USC, 5'11", 187, 3-year starter. He's the outside corner, can play a little bit of nickel too, mix him up, a little bit smaller of a corner, 5'11", 187, right? He also had 3 interceptions through his college career. Not a ton of ball production, right? I do like Jalen Smith. I definitely think he's a later pick at cornerback in that 4th or 5th round. Remember, the Eagles got, 4 5th-round picks? So Jalen Smith could be available in that range. All right. The next group of players, TJ Sanders, Nick Scorton, and Trey Amos, are all late first-round picks, early day 2 picks. I don't see them either three of these guys being there at 64 when the Eagles pick in round 2. So they'll probably have to trade up. TJ Sanders is a talented guy, 6'4", 297, 8.5 sacks, 16.5 tackles for a loss in his final 2 years at college. He's a playmaker, man, in the middle of that defense. I do like TJ Sanders. He seems to be rising up draft boards, right? So if the Eagles don't like the way the board fell, maybe they draft a guy like TJ Sanders at 32. Same thing goes with Nick Scorton, 6'3", 257. He's a beast, man. 14 tackles for a loss, 5 sacks. And remember, Texas A&M, they rotate a lot. A lot of the kind of edges have a lot of responsibilities in the run game, so they're not pinning their ears back and going after these quarterbacks. So the small sack totals is pretty prevalent in all the guys from Texas A&M, including Shamar Stewart, right? Shamar Turner is on there as well. Trey Amos, I think that he's definitely in play for the Eagles at 32. 6'1", 195, ran a 4.43. He's got pretty good speed, zone heavy guy. Sorry if you guys hear this banging in the background. They're literally building a new apartment complex right next to me. So we just have to live with this hammering and sawing for the next, few months or whatever. Yeah, but Amos could definitely be a factor for the Eagles at 32. And then Jacob Parrish, he's on the board, 5'10", 191. He could be available at 64. The Eagles don't go corner in round 1, and they want to wait till the end of round 2, round 3. A guy like Jacob Parrish is probably going to go, end of the second round, middle of the third round type of guy. And then Shamar Turner, another D tackle from Texas A&M, 6'3", 290, could take over that Milton Williams role. 3-year starter. He's got inside-outside versatility on the D-line. He could play, really any of these techniques on the D-line. I don't know if he's big enough to play nose, but, man, maybe you kick him out a little bit in coverage if you think he's able to do that. 8 sacks over the last 2 years. I like Shamar Turner. Not one of my favorite guys. I just don't know if I love him. Maybe second round. Day 2 guy, in that 64 range could make some sense. Dylan Fairchild, the guard from Georgia, he's definitely running up draft boards. Like earlier in the draft process, people thought he was going to go 4th, 5th round. Now he's pretty much like a 3rd round guy, maybe even sneak in towards the end of the 2nd round. I do like Dylan Fairchild as well. I like his size, 6'5", 318. One of the better overall interior offensive linemen in this draft class, right? And then we got Oladejo, the edge from UCLA. Good player, 6'3", 259. Pretty good player. Donovan Jackson, a guy I really like from Ohio State because of his versatility, right? The versatility makes a lot of sense. He's a guard, but when Simmons got hurt, he kicked out to left tackle and played pretty damn well. So he could be an excellent guard, all-pro type of guard, right? Maybe the Eagles' right guard of the future. And if in a pinch, you kick him out to left tackle or right tackle, I think he could hold his own there for sure. And then Tyler Barron, the edge from Miami, 6'5", 298. Definitely a later round guy, 4th, 5th round. He got some tackles for loss, got some sacks, Pretty good overall player in his college career. He's a 4th or 5th rounder in my opinion. Charles Grant, another guy with great measurables, 6'5", 311, almost 35-inch arms. He's everything you look for in an offensive tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's in play in the 3rd round for me. Maybe even in the 2nd round, but probably more of a day 3. I don't know, maybe end of day 2, 2nd in the 3rd round. Yeah, maybe later. They might have to move up in the 3rd round to get Grant. That could make some sense for them. Have him sit behind Lane Johnson for a year and then take over soon. Jaden Blue, the running back from Texas. I don't think the Eagles are going to bring in a running back. Maybe in one of these later 5th round picks, if he's still hanging around, that can be interesting. Another guy they brought in, Donovan Ezaraku, the edge from Boston College, extremely productive at his time in Boston College, right? ACC Defensive Player of the Year and an All-American in 2024, 16.5 sacks, 20 tackles for loss, 20.5 actually, juice. He's got some juice. Will he last with the Eagles? 232, I doubt it. I like that production. Got good size. He could definitely take over the Josh Sweat role in this defense. If the Eagles got Donovan Ezaraku in round 1, I would be super happy with that, guys. Another guy a lot of teams seem to like because of the speed is Maxwell Harrison from Kentucky, 5'11", 183. Little too small for me. 10 pass breakups in 20 games over the last 2 seasons. 5 of those interceptions came in 2023. 5 out of the 6. He only had 1 last year. 4.28 speed. Great speed. But is speed everything at the cornerback position? No. Because people are always like, they got great makeup speed. Well, if he's in the right position, he won't have to use that makeup speed. You know what I'm saying? So I watched some of the tape. I like him. I don't know if I necessarily love him. Maybe at bottom of the second round type of guy. I don't know. I think some team's going to fall in love with the speed. I don't know. I'm passing on Harrison in my opinion. And then Elijah Roberts, a guy I really, really like. Super productive. 17.5 sacks, 24 tackles for a loss for the Mustangs. 6'4", 285. Gives the Eagles a little more beef on the edge. But I don't know if he's going to be... They've been saying he's an outside linebacker, but he's too big, especially in this Eagles scheme. I think they'd rather have a smaller guy at one of these DN spots, take over the Milton Williams role, have him put on a little bit of size. Elijah Roberts, super productive guy. Marcus Embaugh from Purdue, another, day 2, day 3 pick at offensive line, 6'4", 303. A little bit small if he's going to play tackle, in my opinion. But he could be a tackle, kick him in the guard, I don't like his size at a right tackle, 6'4", 303. I want 6'5", 6'6", a little bit longer arms. He's athletic, though. I do like Josh Connerly Jr. a lot, 6'5", 311. Very athletic. He ran up, over 300 pounds, running a pretty much 5 flat 40. Is super impressive. That vert at 34.5 inches. He's an athletic freak. And if you put him in Stoutland U with that type of athleticism, he could be a fucking problem for defensive lines in this Eagles scheme. Another guy they brought in, Anthony Belton. Seems like a lot of teams are bringing in Belton for that middle of the draft offensive lineman they really like, Arm length coming in around 34 inches is good enough, right? And then Jalen Travis, another offensive lineman, 6'8", 339. 6'8" is really big, and then D lineman can get up underneath your pads, so I don't know if I like that, right? Now, I want to take another look at some of these Eagles top 30 guys. This is all of them, right? Bleeding Green does a great job tracking all these guys. Some guys we didn't talk about were Kevin Winston Jr., and they brought in some local visits, right? Local visits do not count towards top 30 visits. That includes running back LaQuint Allen from Syracuse, Navy safety Ryan Lane III. We heard Mel Kiper Jr. talking about him as well from Navy. That's interesting. Donovan Ezeraku counted for a local visit as well. I'm just taking a look, scanning this over. Pretty much we went over a Wyatt Millam, a guy I like from West Virginia. He could play. He's more of a guard, I think, than a tackle, but another one of those swing guys. And this is a great website if you want to check them out at Walter Football. So they have all the kinds of meetings. Senior Bowl, East-West Shrine, Combine, interested, very interested, Pro Day, local visit, top 30, private workout, some type of meeting, and virtual meeting. They got everything. And all the players that the Eagles brought in some regard. Trey Amos, Tyler Barron, we talked about them. Corey Black, guy I haven't talked about from Oklahoma State. He's a cornerback, pretty good player, day 3 type of guy. Jaden Blue, Sam Brown. They brought into the virtual meetings, right? Remember, the COM means combine meeting, and then the virtual meetings down here, VIR, right? And then Sam Brown, a wide receiver, virtual meeting, combine meeting, wide receiver from Miami. Keziah Izzard, D tackle from Penn State, Pro Day. Kyle Kennard, a guy I really, really liked. He had from South Carolina. Pro, remember, the Pro stands for Pro Day or Campus Meeting, right? So this is a very comprehensive list of all the guys the Eagles have coming in. Kobe King, I like, the linebacker. Local meeting, Ryan Lane, the safety, we just discussed him. Inside linebacker, Chandler Martin. I definitely think the Eagles need to address the off-ball linebacker position at some point in this draft. A guy like Kobe King, Kaiser from Notre Dame, I really like as well. Milam, Oladejo, top 30. Local visit, Jalen Reed, the safety from Penn State. Elijah Roberts, Eric Rogers, another new name, a local visit. Corner from Rutgers. Carter Runyon, the tight end from Towson. That's a pro one. TJ Sanders, Scorton. Will Shepard, the wide receiver from Colorado in a virtual meeting. Starks and Smith, top 30s. And then Connor Watkins, quarterback from Villanova. If the Eagles, traded in somewhere or traded back a 5th-round pick to pick up a 6th and a 7th to bring in a quarterback, I don't think that's a bad idea. A young guy you could stash on the practice squad. I do like that. So that's all the names, guys. Let me know in the comments some of your favorite prospects the Philadelphia Eagles are bringing in. These top 30 visits are really, really exciting. I'm so geeked for this draft, man. All these names. Some of my favorite are Charles Grant, Trey Amos, Scorton, TJ Sanders, Donovan Ezeraku. I don't know if they go Malachi Starks, even though I like him. And I do like Ben Morrison from Notre Dame, one of my favorite cornerbacks in this entire draft class. I think that's a really interesting pick for the Eagles at corner. And we'll have to see what happens to guys like Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr. Will they fall in this draft class? Even a guy like Mike Green. But the Eagles won't bring in Mike Green because they have a zero-tolerance policy on assault on women, domestic violence, stuff like that. So he's out. But James Pierce Jr. is more of a maturity issue, so he could be interesting for the Philadelphia Eagles. But all these names that we see on this list are definitely in play in the top 3 rounds. Some of them, a day 3 selection, 4 and 5. But most of these names are guys the Eagles are focusing their time in and energy on. I like Nick Scorton. I do like Trey Amos and Ben Morrison at the cornerback position. And if Josh Connerly's there at the end of round 1, that type of athleticism is rare. It's very rare. I mocked him to the Eagles. Maybe I'll do one more Eagles mock draft because remember, Cam Jurgens just re-signed a 4-year extension. I think it was $68 million with like 37 or 39 million guaranteed money. So now, center's going to be kind of off, and like that kind of pushes me down a little bit with the guards and too. With the guards and the centers, I can kind of play both of those positions. That probably pushes them down the draft board in my opinion because we got Malata signed for a while. We got Dickerson, Jurgens. There's a slew of guys competing for right guard. And we got Lane Johnson, who's probably going to play this year and possibly next year for the Philadelphia Eagles, guys. Okay. If you like these kind of breakdowns in the draft, let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like and subscribe, guys, and get ready for the draft. And don't forget, we're doing some Quinyon Mitchell autograph giveaways, but you got to tune in to the live stream on draft day. I'll probably do one giveaway on Friday for the first round, and I'll do another giveaway for rounds 2 and 3 on Friday. Thank you guys so much. Go Birds. Peace.